Those of us who shoot video often wish that our video looked more like film. We've grown up with film, watching it in theaters and seeing it on TV. There are a broad range of techniques and technical tricks you can use to make the video you shoot look more like film. In this segment of TechKnow, we're going to discuss the legendary look of film and explore a few ideas you can apply to your videography to give it a more cinematic appeal. As videographers, we should just admit that if we shot video with cinematic techniques and lighting, we'd get much closer to the film look than we'd get by simply going out and buying the latest magic 24p camera. Let's distinguish here first between a film effect and the film look. Many editing applications come with built-in effects that can make your video look like a scratched and dusty old film. These effects have their place, but that's not what we're shooting for here. In the next few minutes, we're going to start with the simplest, easiest, cheapest, and most important aspects that we can control to get the film look, and work up to the more subtle and often more expensive digital effects. The most obvious difference between film and video, even to the most casual couch potato, is square TV versus rectangular movies. Television has a 4:3 aspect ratio. Widescreen television and DVDs come in at 16:9, and Hollywood movies often have much wider aspect ratios than that. You should start your quest for the mythic film look by shooting 16:9 video. Even if you don't own a 16:9 camera, you can shoot video that you have carefully framed for 16:9 or wider and add letterboxing in post. Of course, you're throwing away 25% or more of your frame and image data when you do this, but the effect is simple and dramatic. Another simple but slightly more subtle variable you can play with is the shutter speed on your camcorder. High shutter speeds can result in sharper images that result in a more signature video look than the often softer look of film. It's often not a bad idea to match your shutter speed to your camera's frame rate, which we'll discuss in a moment. For many DV camcorders, this means a 1/60th of a second shutter speed. In brightly lit scenes, such as outdoors on a sunny day, this is going to mean you're going to need to stop down your aperture, which increases the depth of field, which in turn yields a less cinematic look. For this reason, you want to have a couple of different neutral density filters on hand, so you can open that aperture back up and slow the shutter speed down. Newer HD formats and cameras can shoot in a true progressive scan mode, but the more common DV format is an inherently interlaced format. There's no getting around that fact. Getting progressive video out of interlaced DV means some kind of de-interlacing process. Less important than progressive scanning is the actual frame rate. Film is traditionally shot and displayed in movie theaters at 24 progressive frames per second, otherwise known as the magical 24p. Televisions in the US are locked into displaying 60 fields per second, or 30 frames per second if you've de-interlaced the frame so that both fields display the same image data. Even if you have a 24p source, such as a vintage Aeroflex moving picture camera or a brand new true 24p digital camera, most likely you'll be distributing to an audience watching interlaced television, at least if you want the widest possible viewership for your program. The conversion from 24p source to 60i is not a new process. In fact, it's been around for as long as movies have been shown on television. The process is called telecine. Involves a pull down that spreads the 24 frames across the 60 fields. There are two common pull downs, 2.3 and Panasonic's newer 2.332, as first used in the DVX100. As you can see in this animation, single fields extracted from a frame of film do not correspond one-to-one to the fields of video, and indeed, a single frame of film can actually span multiple frames of video. It's all pretty heady stuff, but in the end, telecine pull-down maintains the aesthetic of the 24p film look pretty well. The reverse of this process, that is converting 60i video to 24p, is an inverse telecine process that's not commonly known as push-ups. This is how video is converted and printed to film. It's also a process that you could use to convert source 60i footage to 24p, and it can be as simple as dropping your 60i footage into a 24p project in your professional level editing software, and then rendering out the finished movie to a 24p format. Unfortunately, buying the latest HD camera and shooting in 24p will not make your video look like film. There are many other factors that make the film look like film, including sensitivity of film to light, to the range of colors it can capture, right down to the size of the grains of silver halide salts that record the image. The really bad news is that if you want the film look, you're going to need to shoot film. There are, however, some very impressive and interesting plugins that you can use to simulate film with enough detail to even imitate particular stocks of film. DigiFX, Cinelook, and Red Giant's Magic Bullet are two fine examples, and there are others. Keep in mind that these are $800 to $900 apps, and they're primarily for creating subtle and realistic simulations of film and are neither toys nor magical tools to rescue bad video. If you have any questions about this or any other technical topic, drop the tech team an email or give us a call. We'd be happy to help you out with this or any other technical questions you might have. And remember, there are no technical solutions to artistic problems, so don't let technology get in the way of your creativity.